Hello Internet, I'm Zahn and welcome to another Let's Play. As you can see from the title screen here, the game I'm going to be playing through in this particular series is Cave Story. Specifically, this is Cave Story Plus on the PC. Now, before I get started, I have a little bit of history with this game I want to sort of talk through. I'll speak to it a bit more as we get going, but the original Cave Story that I first played was the version that was distributed for free in the mid-2000s. This game was made by one guy, I believe his name is Pixel. He created this entire game and just released it for free. And I played an English fan translation back in mid-2000s when it came out. And I played one of the remade versions that was released on, I want to say, the DS. I have not played this particular version, so I'm curious to see how similar it is. But in a nutshell, this is an indie game, and it's fairly well known, and I may have mentioned it in some of my other playthroughs, but Cave Story is one of my all-time favorite games. This is my top favorite indie game, hands down. I really like it a lot, and I haven't played through it in quite some time, so I figured as a way to sort of switch up the content on the channel and sort of go for something a little more retro, I would play through this game from start to finish and see if I remember where everything is and try and get the best ending. So what I'll do is go ahead and get started and sort of talk through the basics in case you're watching this and have never actually seen this game before. So we'll go ahead and get started. Story mode, we will take the first slot. Original difficulty, hard difficulty. We'll do original first. Depending on how this playthrough goes, I might do multiple playthroughs of this game. We'll see, but for now we'll start on normal or original. Okay. Right away we are dropped in without any sort of initial story or opening cinematics. This game, to describe its style and genre, is a two-dimensional action platformer slash Metroidvania type game, very much in the style of things like Super Metroid or Blaster Master. Your character that you have here is the unnamed protagonist, sort of little dude with a hat. You get bits and pieces of this particular character's story as you go. The controls are relatively simple. Using the D-pad, you can move in 4 directions. You have a jump. I don't have any sort of weapon, so I can't attack. The way you interact with things is by hitting down, which is a little unusual. This flashing red terminal will restore your health if you're damaged, and the little spinning disc, if you hit down, is your save point. Usually the save points in the game are marked by a save disc icon above the door, which tells you there's a save point inside. And usually there's a health restoration thing, so you can top up your health and save your progress. If you go up to the only door here and move through, we're officially in the first cave. Now those blue enemies, I think they're called critters, they are hostile if I get close enough. I could go towards this one sitting on the ground that's looking at me. Seeing how I don't have a weapon, that wouldn't be a good idea. The star blocks here, can't do anything with those yet. All I can do is proceed to the left. These red spiky things will kill me if I touch them. I think they do 5 base damage, and as you can see in the upper left, I have 3 health. So it's game over if I land on one of those. The bat creatures just sort of path up and down. They won't come after me. Up here, if I hit down on this, I will acquire a life capsule. And in true Metroidvania fashion, you get a little musical chime there that's very, very reminiscent of the Metroid sound effect whenever Samus gets an item. First off, you can see that my base health has gone up to 6. Those life capsules will up my max health, so I want to make sure and find as many of those as possible. And the only thing left to do is proceed forward. If I get in the water here, I have an air meter that slowly depletes. If that completely depletes before I get out of the water, I will drown and die. In this earlier level, the game sort of just points you towards this room in a lion's mouth. This is the house of the hermit gunsmith. We try and talk to this guy by hitting down. You get nothing. He's asleep. Because this is true video game fare. If I go over to this chest, hit down, and rob this guy, I will get the polar star. This is my first weapon, and probably one that I will be using for quite some time. And now we get story beats here. Searching for Sue. One Sue found. This guy's name is Kazuma. He goes, Sue, answer me. They're looking for you. Are you asleep or what? Your brother is so lonely. So this guy, Kazuma, is looking for his sister, Sue. And that's all we get so far. Before we move on, sort of explain, with the weapon in hand, I now have the ability to shoot at things. I can point up and forward. I cannot point in 8 directions in this game. And I can up, down, side to side. Throughout the game, you'll collect a whole bunch of different weapons that behave differently and have different special properties using the shoulder buttons that I have mapped on this controller. If I had other weapons, I could hot swap to them just by hitting the shoulders, but right now, this is the only weapon I've got. So now we have a means to break the star blocks, so we can go ahead and move on. You can see that this thing does about base damage of 1. If I grab those little glowing Doritos, you can see that the meter above my life, that says level 1, is now slightly filled with the pit. The way weapon systems work in this game, with maybe one exception, as you defeat enemies and you pick up those glowing Doritos and you fill that meter, once the meter tops out, your weapon will level up and its properties will change and get stronger. Each of the weapons in the game, I believe, has 3 different levels. And the key thing to remember when it comes to the weapon levels is if you take a hit from an enemy, it will usually deplete your weapon level and power your weapon down. So the game is challenging in that it rewards you for playing well, and it punishes you for playing poorly. And I'll probably mention this more as we go, but this game can get incredibly challenging, especially towards the end. Remember when I played this game, when it first came out, it definitely gave me a run for my money, so hopefully I'll be able to get through it alright. And before I move on, now that I hit level 2 with the Polar Star, you can now see that my beam has got two prongs to it. It's a little bit taller and does more damage. This is a mimic door. Back to Kazuma. Come on, Sue. Type something, will you? Starving over here. I'm so hungry that I even ate a cockroach. Lol, just kidding. But just so you know, if I get to that point, I'll do it. We're now in the Mimiga village. And this guy says, "Give me the key." And this character says, "No way. Are you trying to protect that Sue girl? She's an outsider." "Sue is a good person. I won't betray Sue." Toroko. The next time that the doctor shows up, someone else will be taken away. If Sue isn't turned in, you could be in danger. But just hand over the key. And I crash landed right in the midst of their discussion. I knocked that guy over, and she went running off. What? You're not an enemy? I thought you were one of them. My name is King. I'm the number one in this village. Though I say number one, it doesn't really mean much. There are only 6 of us left in the village. Well, really, including Sue at 7, but she's not one of us. She's just an outsider that came into our village. And just like it said on the little title thing that popped up, this area is the Mimiga village. These creatures here, these sort of little bunny animal things, are called Mimigas, and they are adorable. Overall, all the character design and artwork in this game is phenomenal. The music in this game, which has been remastered for this version, was also scored by Pixel. And the soundtrack to Cave Story is also one of my favorites. I've played it on stream before. The original tunes, the remastered, remixed versions, all the music is just really good. Just as sort of a forewarning for this playthrough, I'll probably be singing my praises for Cave Story. I'll try not to do it too much so it doesn't get annoying, but this being one of my favorite games, there's a lot I like about it, so hopefully, just to sort of give people an idea about my experience with it, I'll try and explain the different things that I do like, and not just sort of fanboy everywhere. Alright, we'll explore the village a little bit. The Yamashita farm. This is the farm where we grow flowers. My job is to protect this farm. To us Mimiga, these flowers are a precious source of food, but not the red flowers. Heard that if we eat red flowers, our blood pressure skyrockets and we'll die in an instant. Fortunately, on this farm we don't grow those vile red flowers that may or may not be important later. Okay. Go ahead and grab another life capsule. Now I've got 8 total health, which, as we'll see as we go along, every little bit helps, especially towards some of the boss fights and later encounters where things get really crazy. Being able to take more hits is always welcome.